I wanted to mention this and just sharing what I have learned a little bit about, and on the topic of when people say, why don't they just leave? Or the understanding of, a little bit of the understanding of why some cling to their abuser or defend their abuser or just don't report at all. And I want to start with bringing up there's a book by a psychiatrist called, I have not read it, but I watched her do an interview with Dr. Romani, and her name is Dr. Ingrid Clayton, a few years ago on Medscape Med Circle, and about her dad. But the book is called Believing Me, if you Google it, by Dr. Ingrid Clayton. And she talks about how, I remember one situation, if I have it correctly, of how her dad got a dress. I mean, she got dressed, whatever, and he took her to Vegas, and that was his girlfriend. So, and then I think she was saying how, I think she does cover how you cling to the person that is doing the abuse or something like that. And Believe in Me, I think it came about something with where the mom did not believe her or something. I really need to read that book. It is in my cart. I just haven't done it yet, got around to it. And then also, with the Diddy case going on, I saw a post earlier by Lisa Bailu, and she was talking about how when she used to always want to go to California, be into the music industry or into the industry period, and it never happened for her. But, she was saying it could have very well happened to her. She could have been, one of those people. And so she's going to do a series as the Sean Diddy case goes on, and have professionals on her channel chopping it up and talking about it. There is a male figure I know, and he always talks about the industry and how he didn't make it big and this and that or whatever. And you can hear it in his voice, and you can hear certain things that he say. I guess a part of him, you grew up thinking that he wasn't good enough, but then as he look into it and see all things unfolding, it's like it wasn't me, and he realizes that now it wasn't him. Everything sometimes happens for a reason. So there's a whole lot of ways to look at the situation currently unfolding from many different sides of the spectrum. And one thing I wanted to address is that, people are taught things, we as human beings getting to groups and doing what others do and thinking what's right, and then can't get out and don't know why or how. And my thing is now, as people are trying to heal and healing and understanding I believe that that's the beginning of something beautiful, where if you want to understand, if you want to look to change, if you want to doing the work on yourself to make the change, to become who you really are, if that you didn't feel good doing some of the things that you have done in the past, or haven't had some of the things to happen to you that has happened to you in the past. So rather than beat yourself up or beat others up, look into self and say, who am I? Who am I, and what do I want to do with it? And capitalize on it in that manner. I do have something that I'll read in a minute when I come back, and it's like mainly focused on why people don't leave and why people side with the people that are doing the abuse. It's a clinical, people that are clinical with extensive expert background, understands that have done the work and went to schooling for this type of thing. And there's been times where I wanted to understand that as well. So I'm going to read a little bit on that, and I'll share that as well.
So this is what I wanted to share a little bit as I looked into it, because it's pretty frustrating sometimes when I hear when some say, why don't they leave? Or just curiosity of why the victims take up and be on the side of the abusers. This can happen in many different situations. And so as I was curious about it, I said, let me look into it a little more. And I wanted to read something and share out loud as I learn about it. And so it says, why victims of abuse often defend or side with their abusers. So I'm going to start with the conclusion first. It says victims of abuse often side with or defend their abusers due to a complex interplay of psychological conditioning, emotional manipulation, practical barriers, and social pressures. These dynamics make it extremely difficult for many to report abuse or leave abusive relationships. And this can happen in child abuse as well, even when the outsiders may not understand why. So psychologists and certified experts widely recognize that many victims of abuse end up defending, protecting, or siding with their abusers. This complex phenomenon is rooted in a combination of psychological, emotional, and practical factors that make it difficult for victims to report abuse or leave the situation. And then also, you remember, like back in the day, they would be like, why are they dressed like that? That's their own fault, things of that nature. So it's a whole lot that comes to play. Key psychological and emotional factors, trauma bonding and Stockholm syndrome. Victims often develop strong emotional attachment to their abusers through cycles of abuse and reconciliation. This is sometimes referred to as trauma bonding, or in a more extreme cases, Stockholm syndrome. The abuser alienates between cruelty and affection, creating confusion and dependency in the victim, who may come to believe that protecting the abuser is in their own best interest. Internalization of the abuser's perspective over time victims may become highly attuned to their abuser's need and moods as a survival strategy. This mental subordination leads them to adopt the abuser's point of view, justify the abuse, and sometimes even deny its severity. This hypersensitivity helps them anticipate and avoid further harm, but also makes them more likely to defend the abusers to others. Learn helplessness. Repeated exposure to abuse, especially from childhood, can instill a sense of powerlessness known as learned helplessness. This can also be in like the slavery type deal as well. Victims may come to believe they are incapable of stopping the abuse or escaping it, and that their situation is unchangeable. Like getting on welfare and stuff like that, I think. I don't know. Low self-esteem and guilt. Abusers often erode their victims' self-worth, convincing them that they deserve the mistreatment or that they are responsible for the abuser's actions. This manipulation leads to feelings of guilt, shame, and a belief that they are unworthy of better treatment. This can be for children when one of their parents are sleeping with them. Practical and social barriers, fear and safety concerns. Many victims feel that leaving will provoke worse violence, including threats to their own safety or that of their children and loved ones. The risk of serious injury or death often escalates when a victim attempts to leave. Yes, like with the Diddy and the Cassidy and the urination in the mouth, you know. Isolation. Abusers frequently isolate their victims from friends, family, and support networks, making it harder for them to seek help or even recognize the abuse as abnormal. This is why it's so important to continue to listen and find your person that resonate with you, that talk about narcissistic abuse. This is serious. This is real. Those that haven't went through it, you're very fortunate, or to not have to have lived such a beautiful life. But there are people that go through stuff, so it should be talked about and to help others. Financial dependence, economic control is a common tactic in abusive relationships. Victims may lack the financial resources to leave, especially if the abuser controls all income or has sabotaged the victim's ability to work. Hope for change and love. Many victims still love their abuser and hope that the abuser will stop. They often remember the positive aspects of the relationship and want to believe promises that things will improve. And this is just like the psychologist in the book that I mentioned earlier, Believe in Me by Dr. Ingrid Clayton. Also, I met someone that said her granddad was abusing her physically, sexually since 6 years old, and she took care of him until he died. She loved him. So it's something that a lot of us may not understand. It's something that can be talked about, and learning about narcissistic abuse to help get out of these situations on a quicker, so you don't have to stay in it for life, or as long as a lot of people do. Because society has it where they're going to point the finger at you and judge you. So it's good to learn about stuff. Shame and social stigma. Victims may feel ashamed or fear judgment from others, making them reluctant to disclose the abuse. Cultural or religious beliefs can also play a role in discouraging reporting or leaving. And I'm going to just leave it at that. When we're so hard on other people and we don't understand and we haven't been through some of the things that other people have been through. But the experts know, and it's good to get help and get counseling if you can. If not, fight for yourself when you're ready. There's help.